Hello friends, welcome in today's lecture. Today we will see how to connect the JDBC ODBC with the database. For connecting with the database, we need to follow the three steps. First, create the database file in MS Access. Second step is to create the DSN, that is a data source name for your database. And third step is you can now write the Java program, and in this Java program you can connect with the database. So when you connect with the database, that time we need to follow these three steps. First step is create the database file in MS Access, and for that first click on a MS Access in the program menu and select the blank access database option and then enter the file name. For example, my file name is the my database, so my database is the database file in a MS Access. So in the first step, create the database file in a MS Access. Then in the second step, create the DSN, that is a data source name for your database. And for that, first click on a start, choose the control panel and then double click on administrative tools. After clicking on administrative tools, this window is visible on your screen, and in that we choose the data source name. So when you click on a data source name or choose the data source name, this window is displayed on your screen. So once you double click on a data source, you will get the following window, and in that window just click on a system DSN. Sorry, it is not a DNS, it is a DSN, system DSN tab, and then click on a add button and you will get the list of various drivers. So in the second step, choose the administrator tools. In that, choose the data source ODBC, and after clicking on a data source ODBC, this window is displayed on your screen, and in that window you choose the system DSN and then click on a add button. After clicking on a add button, these are various drivers is displayed on your screen, and in that select the Microsoft Access driver and then click on a finish button. So select the Microsoft Access driver star.mdb and star.accdb and then click on a finish button. After clicking on a finish button, you get the following window, and in that window you give the data source name as a my database and write the some description of your database for description. After filling this two field, data source name and description is an optional field. Then click on a select button and select your database file name. See here, after clicking on a select, we get this window, and in that window you choose your database. My database name is mydatabase.accdb, and choose first the location of your saved file, database file, and then select your database name. My database name is my database, and then click on a OK button. After choosing the particular database name, click on a OK button. Again click on a more time of OK button. Then here DSN is created for your database. So in this step 2, you create the DSN for your database. I am showing one example how to create the MS Access database table and how to connect with the DSN with the database. See, first open the MS Access, and first step is create the MS Access file, means create the database file in a MS Access. See here, this is the MS Access database. Choose the blank database first. Here our database is created. Then give the name database name is, here database name is 3. So if you want to change the database name, you can change it. Save as database. Database name is my database. And I am saving the database file in a E drive. Okay, then save. So my database name is my database and the path is E drive. After here our first step is completed. After that, in the second step, create the DSN for your database, and for that go to the start, click on a control panel, then choose the administrative tools. In that, select the data source, double click on it. After that, choose the system DSN. If you are in the system DSN, any database is there, then first remove that database. Click on a remove. So choose the, select on a add button, choose the Microsoft Access driver. See here Microsoft Access driver mdb and dot star dot ACCDB. Then click on a finish. After that, this window is opened. Then give your data source name. My data source name is my database. Okay. Description is an optional field. Then create select your database. Click on a select button. Then first choose your path. I am saving the database file in a E drive. So E drive, and my database name is the my database. Click on a my database file. And click on OK button, otherwise you double click on a my database file. Okay, see here database E drive, the location is there, E drive my database dot ACCDB. So here the create the DSN for your database. Then click on a OK button. Once again click on a OK button. So here our second step is completed. Then create the DSN for your database. After that, the third step is you can write the Java program, and in the Java program you can connect with the database. And for the connecting with the, in the program you connect with the database having the 5 steps. First is register the driver class, then create a connection, create the statement, execute the queries and close the connection. So when you connect the Java program with the database, we need to follow these 5 steps. And in previous we see the steps to connect the JDBC ODBC driver with the database. So in last step 2, you only create a data source name for your database. And in the third step, you can write the Java program, and in that program we can follow these 5 steps. And for that we can connect with the database. There is a 5 step to connect the Java application with the database using the JDBC. And these 5 steps are the first, register the driver class, second, create the connection, third, create a statement, fourth, execute the queries, and fifth, close connection. See all these steps in short. And after that, in the next lecture, we see all these steps in detail. First step is to register the driver class. The for name method of a class is used to register the driver class, and this method is used to dynamically to load the driver class. So for register the driver class, in the program, the for name method is used to register the driver class, and this method is used to dynamically load the driver class. For example, MS Access driver class. Here the Java program is loading JDBC ODBC driver to establish a connection, database connection. So syntax is class.forName son.jdbc odbc driver. So this statement indicates that the Java program is loading the JDBC ODBC driver to establish a database connection. So in the program, Java program, we need to first register the driver, and that's why the for name method is used, and the syntax is class.forName and in bracket son.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. So this statement load the JDBC ODBC driver in the program to establish a database connection with the program. Next step is create the connection object. After register the driver class, next method is to create the connection object. The get connection method is used to establish a connection with the database. So the get connection method of a driver manager class is used to establish a connection with the database. For example, establish a connection with the MS Access database. The syntax is connection con is nothing but the object of the connection. Connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection in bracket JDBC colon ODBC colon sample double bracket and double quote. Double quote and double quote. This double quote indicate that the username and this double quote indicate that the password. And sample is a database name, MS Access database name. So the connection established between the database. For that we use the get connection method. So second step is to use the get connection method to establish a connection with the database, and syntax is connection con is equal to driver manager dot get connection JDBC colon ODBC colon your database name sample comma double quote comma double quote. The third step is create the statement object. After creating a connection, next step is to create the statement object, and for that the create statement method is used of connection interface to create the statement. The object of the statement is responsible to execute the queries with the database. So create statement creates the queries, SQL queries that is implemented in the program. If you want to insert a table in the database or delete some record in the database or update the record in the database, this type of a queries is implemented in the program by using the create statement method. So the syntax is statement stmt is an object of the statement is equal to con dot create statement. So this statement create statement is used to create the statement, and the object of the statement, that is a stmt, is an object of the statement. It is responsible to execute the queries with the database. So this object, statement object, is used to implement the queries or execute the queries. Fourth step is execute the query. The execute query method of a statement interface is used to execute the queries to the database, and this method returns the object of the result set that can be used to get all the records of the table. For example, to execute the query, result set rs is equal to stmt is an statement object dot execute query select star from emp. Emp is nothing but the database name, while rs.next and print system.out.println in bracket rs.getInt 1 plus rs.getString 2. This indicates that the column 1 and column 2. So this statement gives you to record of the employee table, and for that we use the result set object, and execute query is method is used to execute the SQL queries to the database, and this method returns the object of the result set. Means execute query is stored into the object of the result set that can be used to get all the record of the table. Fifth step is close the connection object. By closing a connection object statement and result set will be closed automatically. The close method is used to close the connection. So the close method of a connection interface is used to close the connection. For example, con.close. Before closing the connection, we first close the statement object, that is smt.close. So by closing the connection object statement and result set will be closed automatically, and the close method of a connection interface is used to close the connection. So these 5 steps are implemented at the time of the writing your Java application or Java program. These steps we will see in detail in the next program. So this is all about the 5 steps. So all these 5 steps are implemented when you write a Java program. In the next lecture we study each step in detail.